where'd you go? Small town searching high and low. Echoes whisper in the night. Hope you're safe out of sight.
Matthew McDonald went missing in 2023. The story the public was told was that he vanished at this cemetery. What we've uncovered will shock you. From stories of redemption to lies and deception. In the end, will we know what happened to Matthew McDonald?
I tried to report Matthew missing the Sunday after he went missing, the 12th. I was told that I couldn't. Later, when we decided to do our own search and come down here, and we tried to talk to Kylie to find out where exactly she dropped him off, because we don't know the area. We didn't know that it was up here. We were searching down in Cal, but she wouldn't help us. She wouldn't tell us anything. In fact, she called the police on us, which turned out to be a godsend for us, because at that point, the officer that we spoke to did take our report and did report Matthew missing.
Kylie is a girl he started dating 3 weeks before he went missing, and she's the last one to see him.
This girl that he started dating, and within 3 weeks of their relationship, he's missing. We have been able to come to the conclusion that he was dropped in the parking lot across the street, and the girlfriend left him there to go and retrieve his phone that was left at a job site that day. And when she came back, he was gone. We have reason to believe that that's not true. He did use his phone that afternoon and called his boss, Kevin, and Kevin told my daughter that when he called, he was looking for his pay for that day. And he told him, you weren't even at work for an hour. And he said that Kylie was in the background with him. He had to have gotten his phone back. He made that call.
Yes.
He made that call from his phone. After that, I don't know what happened.
On the day Matthew went missing, and police were called to this church, Kylie had been caught on camera breaking in.
There was a video of her breaking into this church right here. She broke into the church, and the church called the state police and reported a break-in. So the state police had all of the video footage, but they didn't have any video footage of her dropping him off. We asked for that to happen that day. 6 weeks later, the DA decided to try to get it, and it was gone.
Before anyone realized Matt was missing, his girlfriend and ex pretended to be him. They took over his Snapchat and released a video singing "I Just Killed My Ex."
Video of the two girls the following day on that Friday making the video of them saying with the song stating that I killed my ex-boyfriend.
That was done through his phone, right?
His phone. It was all on his phone.
At McDonald. Okay.
Sierra, the other girl involved in these videos, when she was incarcerated, we would tell them, hey, she's incarcerated. Can you go talk to her? They never went. They wanted her to come to them, but she didn't have a ride, and she lived in Burgettstown. So that was their excuse, and the DA's office never went to see her either. They've never questioned her, and she was involved immediately after his disappearance.
Has been talking to mad bitches. Coming to my house, trying to play us. Can't. Like I said,
She pretended on his social medias that
she was
him
yes.
for like a day or
she
two after.
texted people pretending to be him.
Yeah, and then when we would reply to him, text him, message him, say, hey, like, who's on your phone? Because we just thought it was his passwords that were taken or something. she would reply as Matt, so we didn't think it was nothing.
He tried to propose to her with my old engagement ring, and I think it's funny. I think it's great. I do.
Cornball.
I want him to show up. I want to talk to him.
Yeah, let's say some
I
things.
want to talk to him.
I want to show him some things.
He
Yeah.
won't show up. He's a puss. So if you know where Matt is, please let me know.
Run it by.
And then it was 3 days after he had gone missing that I finally hit her up on Snapchat and was like, what's going on? Where's my brother? Like, and she's just like, oh, I don't know where he's at. And then as the conversation progressed, like a 4-hour conversation, she finally was like, oh, I left him in a cemetery. So it took 4 hours for you to tell me that, plus 3 days for you to let us know. That's suspicious.
Did interview the girlfriend. They actually they were able to secure a warrant for her house and her car and her phone. I don't know whatever come of that. They don't share their information with
What
me.
they did tell us is that they didn't have enough DNA that they found in the trunk of her car.
So they found DNA in the trunk of her car.
Yeah, they found his DNA in the trunk of her car, but they said it wasn't enough to do anything because the co-workers had said he got out of the trunk of her car coming into work. So they kind of brushed that off.
That's strange. Do you know if it was like blood DNA or just
We do not know.
hair?
Well, and that was that's another situation where we have different conversations. The guy that was his foreman on the boss that day ran into Sam's husband out at a gas station and told him that Matthew showed up there, had a large amount of drugs, and it was all on a video camera, on like a Ring camera on the house, the front and the back. And that it showed Matthew hiding and getting in and out of the trunk. But then he never told the police that. Or the police, when I asked about it, the police told me that he didn't tell them that. So I don't know why. There's two different stories from everybody surrounding his work, which,
Right.
is a little strange to me. Why do you tell us one thing and the police a different story? Or why are the police not telling us?
Everything.
Yes. It's so frustrating because, I'm the one sitting back here with my wheels turning 24/7, trying to get through life, trying to raise his son, and nobody seems to care. It's frustrating.
Did they ever get that ring footage or ever view it?
No, they never did anything because they were never told by him that it happened, so they wouldn't take my word for it. They don't ever take my word for anything. Several of his friends have told us that he was trying to get away from her. He didn't. He was a nervous wreck around her. She did admit to us that she had hit him, but he said that she was crazy and he was trying to get away from her. And then she brought him back by saying that her pimp raped her and then gave her $500, and that had him feisty.
When Matthew went missing, the community started coming out, talking about the horrors of Matthew's girlfriend. From setting up a boyfriend to be jumped to murder. We reached out to the accusers for comment. At the time of editing this video, they have not responded.
Prior to his disappearance, he called a friend stating he wanted to stay with him because he was afraid that she was going to kill him. Is that true?
Yes. We have messages between him and his friends.
Now, I did read somewhere that after his disappearance, that someone overheard her on the phone saying, "I delivered him, where's my money?"
Yes, that would be Matthew's friend. He was Matthew's best friend, David, all growing up. In fact, Matthew took all of the blame in the situation to save David from going to jail when Matthew went to prison. He protected David. And then he ended up getting back in with David after he was released from prison. And then David started dating Kylie immediately after Matthew went missing, telling us that he was trying to find out what, he had to be there to know where Matthew was and what was going on. And he overheard her on the phone stating, "I delivered him to you. I want my money." And we have a message from him but the police won't use it because it's not a statement from David. So they won't use any of these messages.
Do you know if he ever overheard anything else or seen anything else? Or?
David said that he was he wanted him to help him rob this guy, and it was the quote unquote pimp. His name is Josh, and of $50,000. Kylie kept wanting them to go and rob this place for this $50,000. And then after Matthew disappeared and David showed up into the picture, she was trying to get him to go and rob this $50,000. So that makes me think that he never did rob anybody for this money if it's still there to rob.
Right.
So there's never been urgency. They've never done any kind of searches. I mean, I would think in the area that we're in with the river that we have, those kind of searches would be done immediately. But it wasn't.
Yeah, I saw that the up the road here, the embankment, it's like a straight drop right into the train track river area.
Right. When we have tried to look on that hillside from the tracks, and from the top of the hill, I mean, you can see how dangerous it is. But nobody's ever been able to get back in there to look.
Yeah, I mean.
But the chief of police down in Cal actually told me that he thinks he's over that hillside, but has yet to do a search and rescue.
That makes no sense.
Exactly. That's what we want to know. Why haven't you done a search if you think he's over that hill?
Mm-hmm. Now, I know you did say that he went AWOL a couple times, and recently, right before he went missing. Do you think, by chance, that he could just be anywhere in the state of Pennsylvania or another state, or?
He could be anywhere if he's alive. He could be anywhere. However, Matthew wouldn't let us go through this. He wouldn't let us go through this, and he was a very dependent person. He had no independency in him at all. He was very dependent on us. He would not have been able to, without help, he would not have been able to just leave.
Okay. And you said he was with her for like 3 weeks prior.
No, it wasn't very long. And that's why it kills me when she makes these videos about how she loves him, and that you don't love somebody in 3 weeks, first of all.
Right.
You're a drug addict and you're a prostitute. You don't love my son.
Any issues with him? Any arguments prior? Or?
He got himself into some trouble at a very young age. Spent 10 years in the state prison system. Most of that in solitary confinement.
So he didn't have a life.
Okay.
He was really just trying to build his life back, trying to come home and figure out who he was. So he didn't have any past relationships besides family, really, that were there, and then new relationships he was meeting.
Did he have his wallet or any cash with him? So
nope. Everything was at her house. And supposedly she burnt his clothes. I got an empty book bag and a wallet and a water bottle.
So he didn't take anything with him if he went anywhere?
She said that his wallet was empty, but when I got it, all his stuff was in the very back of it in one little pocket. His social security card, his insurance card, his ID,
kind of
his
like he was
debit
hiding
cards.
it.
Yeah, like he was hiding it. But she said she couldn't find it.
Now, meanwhile, the police did a search of her house and never found his wallet. But she said it was at her house. So the wallet just up and appears after a search of the house? Like, come on.
Right.
Timeline surrounding Matthew McDonald's disappearance. Does it hold any clues? At the age of 19, roughly 10 years prior, Matthew found himself heading to prison, spending most of those 10 years in solitary confinement.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
breaking news. Stay at home. That is the order tonight from 4 state governors as the coronavirus pandemic spreads. New York, California, Illinois, and Connecticut all ordering non-essential employees to stay home.
Finally, in January of 2022, he was paroled. In the summer of 2022, he skipped parole, going to Philadelphia.
Took off over to Philadelphia, and I got him a bus ticket to get his ass back home and to turn his ass in, because I have a son, and he knows that he can't see his son without, being straight with as far as the police go.
Going back to prison in August of 2022. 2 months later, in October, he was paroled again, with conditions that he stay at a halfway house in Braddock, Pittsburgh. In February of 2023, 2 weeks before he went missing, when he started dating Kylie, he leaves the halfway house. At this point, he's in violation of his parole. His mother finds out, at which point she communicates with him that he has to turn himself in or he won't see his son. Around that same time, Matthew starts staying with friends, stating he thinks Kylie is going to kill him. Kylie gets him to return, stating a pimp raped her. On March 7th, Kylie calls Matthew's mother, stating he just turned himself in. This was a lie.
He didn't turn himself in on Tuesday like he was supposed to. And that Tuesday is whenever all the craziness started. Tuesday, late into Wednesday morning, that's when he found out the drugs, and they robbed somebody's house. In fact, it was a drug dealer.
On the record, Matthew was extremely upset that he discovered the medicine she had him pick up was in fact meth. After this, they robbed the pimp that he was told raped her. It turned out it was a drug dealer. On March 9th, the day he went missing, his boss started calling him as he was late.
And there was calls with his boss that morning because he was late. His boss was calling to see if he was coming.
At 10:30 a.m., Kylie dropped Matthew off at work, which she's seen on Ring camera getting out of the trunk of her car.
And she also got pulled over shortly around noon, going
About
like
12:15.
going 75 and a 35 in Peters Township.
Dropping Matthew off at work, she made the trip from California to Washington, picked up her ex-boyfriend Ben from rehab, dropped him in Peters Township, and was headed back here to get Matthew because he was so freaked out they said he couldn't work. So she was headed back here and got the speeding ticket.
At an unknown time, she picks him back up, discovering he has his boss's phone and not his own. He has her drop him off at the cemetery as she goes back to pick up his phone. Kylie is then seen on camera breaking into the church. Reportedly, after this, Matthew makes a phone call to his boss, asking for money, meaning Kylie lied, and she either picked Matthew up at the cemetery or never dropped him off. Sometime that day, Kylie calls Matthew's mom and is reportedly irate.
She called me, I was at work, and she called me freaking out, telling me what a piece of shit son he was, and that he stole her car, and this, that, the other, and that he, and I'm like, wait, what is going on? And I was so flabbergasted at that point that I was thinking they just got in a fight. I'm like, and then she told me that she lied, that he didn't turn himself in on Tuesday like he was supposed to.
After Matthew left work, Kylie was the only person that saw him. The following day, Kylie's door was kicked in by the police for breaking into the church. Matthew was nowhere to be seen. Over the next several days, Kylie pretended to be Matthew and posted on his Snapchat. We reached out to Kylie requesting an interview. At the time of editing, she has not responded. If she ends up responding, we'll do an interview and release that to the public. What happened to Matthew? It's possible he's missing on his own accord, with a history of leaving the area before. But would he abandon his son? His family? And why was Kylie pretending to be him? Did he OD, as PA has laws in place that discourage people from calling the police? Or was she upset, finding out he cheated on her, that he turned him over to the drug dealer they allegedly robbed?
California's just
with
a
Matthew's
dream.
friend overhearing her confession.
Pennsylvania's lost
If you have any information about Matthew McDonald's disappearance, call the California Police Department at 724-938-3233.
Matthew McDonald of Washington County disappeared on the side of the road and has been missing ever since.
Heartbroken in two. We miss
Wake
you
up every
so.
morning and realize that it wasn't a dream.
Come back home to us.
Go through the day the best I can
Stay away.
and wake up and do it again the next
Where'd
day.
you go, Matthew?
A son, grandson, and father. Matthew McDonald was left to his own devices without a phone and with only the shirt on his back on a country road very close to the Monongahela River.
Hope is shrinking.
Matthew, if you are out there, good gravy, please, just come home. Just come home.
To the light before you're gone. Where'd you go, Matthew? We need to know. Heartbroken in two. We miss you so. Come back home to us. Don't stay away. Where'd you go, Matthew? Come home today. Host is faded on the wall. Hope is shrinking, days are tall. Memories keep us holding on to the light before you're gone. Where'd you go, Matthew? We need to know. We need to know. Heartbroken in two. We miss you so. We miss you so. Come back home to us. Come back home to us. Don't stay away. Don't stay away. Where'd you go, Matthew? Come home today. Empty places, empty hearts. Time can never heal these parts. Whispers in the wind tonight, begging for some sign of light.